Here are the Sports Fan Sports Top 5 Passers in NBA History. After UCR picks, if you think someone was left out, tell us in the comments section below. We'll make a Sports Fan Sports Fans Choice video based on your comments. For now, here are our picks for the greatest passers ever. The league leader in assists for an amazing 8 consecutive seasons from 1952 to 1960, Bob Cousy earned the nickname the Houdini of the Hardwood for his superior blend of ball handling and passing skills. Cousy played for the Boston Celtics for 13 seasons and was an all-star every single year. He recorded 6,955 assists in 924 games, averaging 7.5 per game. When you consider that he played several seasons before the shot clock was introduced and scoring was lower, it underscores how great his average really was. Most importantly, though, his assists led to the most desired outcome, NBA championships. Cousy lifted the trophy 6 times as an NBA champion. Cousy's comfort with the ball and using both hands tracks back to his high school years when a fall from a tree resulted in a broken hand. Forced to practice with his offhand, Cousy put in the work and improved dramatically. He would later call the broken hand a fortunate event. Cousy played 113 games at Holy Cross, winning the NCAA title in 1947. He earned All-American honors 3 times. Not everyone embraced Cousy's flashy style. One NBA scout said, "The first time he tries that fancy dance stuff in this league, they'll cram the ball down his throat." He was an all-star selection as a rookie and led the league in assists by his second season. With 6 NBA championships, all in the second half of his career, his legacy was established and the game was changed forever. The first player in NBA history to average a triple-double for a season and the only one other than Russell Westbrook, Oscar the Big O Robertson was a complete player. Through 14 seasons, Robertson was recognized as a 12-time All-Star, 1-time MVP, and in 1970-71, a key player in bringing the first championship to Milwaukee. A high school star, Robertson's team at all-black Crispus Attucks High School lost in the 1954 state quarterfinals to the team that would become the basis for the movie Hoosiers. In his junior and senior seasons, he led the team to a combined record of 62-1 and 2 state titles. He was named Indiana's Mr. Basketball in his senior year. Robertson then played his college ball at Cincinnati from 1957 to 60, averaging 7.1 assists per game over 60 of his 88 games. That stat wasn't kept in his first season in college. Much more than a passer, he averaged a silly 33.8 points per game. He made 2 Final Four appearances as the Bearcats bullied their way to a 79-9 record in his final 3 seasons. He was taken in the 1960 draft by the Cincinnati Royals as a territorial pick. He was immediately a smash success. In his first game, he rang up 21, 12, and 10, and by November he was putting up lines like 44, 15, and 11 in a win over Philadelphia. For his rookie season, he averaged 30.5, 10.1, and 9.7. Seriously, most players never do that for a game, let alone their entire rookie season. Across 1,040 career games in the NBA, the Big O racked up 9,887 assists for an average of 9.5 per game. During 10 seasons with Cincy and 4 with Milwaukee, he led the league in assists 7 times. In 1961-62, Robertson had 41 triple-doubles. That record stood until Russell Westbrook did it 42 times in 2016-17. In 1961-62, Robertson had 41 triple-doubles. The greatest passer to hail from north of the border, Steve Nash, was drafted out of Santa Clara University in 1996. While playing in the college game for a school that isn't exactly on the radar for big-time college hoops, Nash led his team to 3 NCAA tournament appearances, while averaging 4.5 assists per game over 113 games. The Phoenix Suns made him the 15th pick, but his transition to the NBA was not seamless. After failing to make an impact, he was traded to the Dallas Mavericks in 1998. It wasn't until his 4th season in Big D that he earned his first All-Star Game appearance. 7 more appearances would follow. After 6 years in Dallas, he returned to Phoenix as a free agent and played 8 more years as a Sun. The last 2 years of his 18-year career would be spent as a Laker. Across 1,217 career games, Nash recorded 10,335 assists for an average of 8.5 per game. He led the league in the category 5 times. Like any player who earns his pay by passing the ball, Nash needed a strong supporting cast. He had it in his breakout season in 2000-2001 when he lined up alongside Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Finley, and Juwan Howard. Together, they took Dallas to the playoffs for the first time in more than a decade. He left the team as a free agent in 2004 after he and Mark Cuban couldn't agree to a deal, and the Suns made a significantly better offer. Cuban had made a commitment to building around Nowitzki and didn't want to tie up money in a 30-year-old Steve Nash. Nash played a huge role in the Suns making it to the Western Conference Finals in 2005 and was named the league's most valuable player. He retained that title in 2006 and was runner-up in voting the year after that. In an appearance on The Late Show with David Letterman, Cuban said, quote, "You know, Steve's a great guy and I love him to death, but why couldn't he play like an MVP for us?" End quote. Hindsight's 20/20, but you have to believe that Mark Cuban wishes he had ponied up the money for Steve Nash. More than just a passer, in 4 seasons, Nash hit for higher than 50% from the floor, 40% for 3, 90% from the free throw line. Only he and Larry Bird have been in the 50-40-90 club more than once. After leading Everett High School to a state championship in 1977, and then the Spartans of Michigan State University to the NCAA title in '79, it surprised absolutely no one when Magic Johnson was made the top pick of the '79 NBA draft. While a Spartan, he had dished out nearly 8 assists per game across a 2-season, 62-game career. His game would immediately translate to the NBA as he won an NBA title and became the only rookie named NBA Finals MVP. In Game 6 of that series, he played point guard, forward, and center and recorded an absurd 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals. Seriously, that's just silly. He would play 906 games for the Lakers, recording 10,141 assists. He led the league in that stat 4 times. His inclusion on our list is largely for his career average of a whopping 11.2 assists per game, with a high of 13.1 in the 83-84 season. While he is one of only 6 players with over 10,000 assists, his total was surely cut short by an early retirement due to illness, as he had acquired HIV and left the game in 1991. He returned for a season in 95-96 and played 32 games with an average of about 7 assists per game before hanging it up for good. In his 13 seasons with the Lakers, Magic never missed the playoffs, was a 12-time All-Star and a 5-time NBA champion in 9 finals appearances. In the playoff run to the 1985 title, he recorded his playoff high for assists with 15.2 per game. He shares the record for assists in a playoff game with 24 and holds the final records with 21 assists in a game. And our number 1 passer of all time, John Stockton, was selected by the Utah Jazz in the first round of the '84 NBA draft with the 16th overall pick. He had played in 107 games at Gonzaga from '80 to '84, recording 21 points and 5.2 assists per game. His selection was met with stunned silence by the Jazz faithful, who had gathered to watch the draft at the Salt Palace. No worries, they would come to love Stockton as he rewrote the record books over 19 seasons with the Jazz. Over 1,504 games, he would record a stunning 15,806 assists for an average of 10.5 per game. Stockton led the league in that statistical category for an insane 9 straight years. His highest single-season average was a ridiculous 14.5 assists per game in '89-90. A 10-time All-Star, Stockton was a cornerstone of teams that never missed the playoffs in his entire career. While he played in 2 NBA Finals, he never did cut the nets. His Jazz team ran into Michael Jordan and the Bulls twice, losing the final series 4-2 each time in '97 and '98. Karl the Mailman Malone and Stockton were the Jazz's 1-2 punch. The two played a record 1,412 regular season games together. Many of Stockton's assists resulted from passes to Malone, and the mailman always delivered. Given the aggressive brand of basketball that Stockton was known for, one of his greatest accomplishments is that he only missed 22 games in his 19-season career. So those are our top 5 passers of all time. If you enjoyed this video and perhaps even learned something new, click subscribe and become part of the Sports Fan Sports family.